Hi, guys. What we're going to do right now is we are going to be practicing writing a document-based question. And the document-based question, as it says right here, is about the Quran and the Hadith. The question that you're working on is, according to sacred Islamic writings, how should people behave? So to write your DBQ, you're going to be using this format. Now, it looks a little bit different. As you recall, if you go into the green folder, you'll see that I've moved it up to the very top, Quran and Hadith Sacred Writing. When we do the DBQs, we always have an introductory paragraph and then paragraphs that support your thesis, and we have a conclusion. So let's start with our introductory paragraph. We want to write some background information. Well, our question says, according to sacred Islamic writings, how should people behave? Well, as you get started, you need to say what the sacred Islamic writings are. And you should probably talk about this question of how should people behave? People should behave in a proper way so that society can function. So let's go back to the textbook. This paragraph has some good information about the Quran and the Hadith. And as I've pointed out many times, it's probably easiest if you read it while it's playing for you.
Lesson 1.4, Document-Based Question. The Quran and Hadith. The Quran, Islam's holy book, provides religious guidance to Muslims on all aspects of life, from saying prayers to conducting business. Muslims also look to the Sunnah, or Muhammad's example, to guide their behavior. Accounts of what Muhammad reportedly said, did, or approved were recorded by his followers after his death and are called Hadith. The word Hadith can refer either to a specific account of Muhammad's words and actions or to all the accounts in general.
So let's go to the background information about the Quran. So we would write, the Quran is the holy book for, and you could say the religion, of course, is Islam, or the people who believe in Islam are Muslims. It tells the people how to follow God's words. The Sunnah tells how Muhammad lived his life. So people read that to learn how to live out God's words. So you could, if you don't want to say that you are looking at all people as doing this, you could say Muslim people, or you could just say Muslims. So Muslims read the Sunnah to learn how to live out God's words. And then it is important to live in harmony with others for a better society. You're trying to think about, again, why do people try to live good lives? And one of the reasons is salvation, so they get to heaven. One is so that they have a good life on earth. Now, the thesis statement is easily written if you take the question and then you just turn it into a sentence. According to sacred Islamic writings, people should behave, and now you're going to have some examples of how people should behave by, and what is it that they're supposed to do. So if we go back to the first document, which is a primary source sacred text from the Qur'an, it's going to tell us how people should behave so that they get to heaven.
Document 1. Primary source, sacred text, from the Qur'an. Muslims consider the Qur'an to be the words of God revealed in human language. In this excerpt, God speaks using the pronoun we, even though God is a single being. This use of we serves to emphasize the majesty and authority of God. This excerpt and the following one focus on why God created diversity among people. O mankind, we have created you male and female, and appointed you groups and tribes, that you may know one another. Surely the noblest among you in the sight of God is the most God-fearing of you. God is all-knowing, all-aware.
So we've learned from the Quran, 49 through 13th chapter. We're just going to copy that title so that we can paste it. So we are going to be using our first paragraph for the first topic. We are going to say the first thing that we learned is people should behave by being God-fearing. So right here, surely the noblest among you in the sight of God is the most God-fearing of you. God is all-knowing, all-aware. So the first thing that you need to know is you should fear God. Then what's the next thing that we're going to learn at? Let's go to the second document.
Document 2. Primary source, sacred text, from the Quran. As this excerpt suggests, tolerance of diversity is an important value in the Quran. In this excerpt, the pronoun he is used to refer to God. Muslims believe that God has no gender. The use of he is simply a custom. If God had willed, he could have made you one nation, but he willed otherwise, that he may test you in what has come to you. So be you forward, active in good works. Unto God shall you return, all together. Quran, chapter 5, verse 54.
So in this selection, it tells you that you're going to need to be active in good works. So let's go back and paste that in. Now, of course, I'm just copying and pasting right now. I'm not even saying what this means. And that's what the paragraphs are going to be about. But let's look at our third document. How is someone supposed to live according to the Hadith? Let's read it.
Document 3. Primary source, sacred text. Hadith. The Quran strongly warns Muslims to prepare for a day of judgment, when the worthy will go to paradise and the unworthy will suffer in hell. This hadith offers guidance on how to behave on earth in order to attain paradise. Anyone who believes in God and the last day of judgment should not harm his neighbor. Anyone who believes in God and the last day should entertain his guest generously. And anyone who believes in God and the last day should say what is good or keep quiet. Sahih al-Bukhari, 6018.
All right.